shadows of doubt. Helena Westbrook pressed her palm against the gentle swell of her belly, feeling the subtle flutter of life within. At 26 weeks pregnant, she should have been glowing with anticipation, planning nursery colors and choosing baby names with her husband. Instead, she stood in Marcus's home office at midnight, her heart hammering as she rifled through desk drawers she had never before thought to open. The mansion in Pacific Heights felt cavernous tonight, its expensive silence pressing against her ears. Marcus had left 3 hours ago for what he called an emergency meeting with investors. It was the 4th such emergency this month, and Helena's intuition screamed that something wasn't right. Her fingers found a folder tucked beneath investment portfolios. Inside were receipts from restaurants she'd never visited with him, hotel bar charges at odd hours, and a handwritten note on cream stationery that simply read, "Tuesday worked perfectly. Same time next week?" See, Helena's breath caught. Who was C? She photographed everything with trembling hands before carefully replacing the folder. Her mind raced through possibilities, each more painful than the last. Marcus Westbrook, the man who'd swept her off her feet 5 years ago with his charm and ambition, who'd cried when she showed him the positive pregnancy test, couldn't be betraying her. Could he? The sound of the front door opening sent her scrambling from the office. She made it to the kitchen just as Marcus appeared, loosening his silk tie. "You're still awake?" He kissed her forehead, and she searched his face for guilt. His dark eyes revealed nothing but mild surprise. Couldn't sleep. "The baby's been active." Helena forced steadiness into her voice. "How was your meeting?" "Exhausting. The Riverside project is consuming every spare minute." He moved to the refrigerator, pulling out sparkling water. "You should rest, love. You need sleep for 2 now. Riverside." The word triggered a memory. Helena had met Marcus's new assistant 2 months ago at a company party. Chloe Riverside. Young, polished, with sharp cheekbones and sharper ambitions. She'd monopolized Marcus's attention that entire evening, while Helena, newly pregnant and nauseous, had left early. Could Chloe be C? The next morning, Helena called her sister Beatrice, a corporate lawyer with a skeptical nature and protective instincts. They met at a quiet cafe in Noe Valley, far from Marcus's usual haunts. "I think he's having an affair," Helena whispered, sliding her phone across the table to show the photographed receipts. Beatrice studied each image with professional precision. "These don't prove an affair, but they're definitely suspicious. The timing, the frequency." She looked up, her expression grave. "Helena, even if it's just an emotional connection, you need to know. Especially now." Helena's hand moved instinctively to her belly. "What do I do?" "We investigate carefully. No confrontations until we have facts." Beatrice pulled out her own phone. "I know someone. Owen Marshall, retired detective. He's discreet and thorough. If Marcus is hiding something, Owen will find it." That afternoon, Helena sat in Owen Marshall's modest office in the Mission District. The detective was in his 60s, with kind eyes that had seen too much deception. He listened without judgment as Helena explained her fears. "I'll start surveillance tomorrow," Owen said gently. "Mrs. Westbrook, I want you to prepare yourself. Sometimes what we discover is painful. But knowledge is power, especially when you're protecting yourself and your child." Helena nodded, fighting tears. "I need to know the truth. Then we'll find it," Owen promised. As Helena drove home through San Francisco's foggy streets, she felt her baby kick, a reminder of what was at stake. Whatever Marcus was hiding, whatever web Chloe Riverside might be spinning, Helena would unravel it all. She was done being kept in the dark. The game, though she didn't yet realize it, was about to become far more dangerous than a simple affair. Owen Marshall's first surveillance report arrived 3 days later, and it confirmed Helena's worst fears. Photographs showed Marcus and Chloe at intimate restaurant corners, their body language speaking volumes. Marcus leaning forward, engaged. Chloe touching his arm, laughing at his jokes. But Owen's written assessment chilled Helena more than the images. Subject: Chloe Riverside has been researching sedative substances online. Browser history obtained through legal channels shows searches for benzodiazepines, their effects, and detection windows. She's also been in contact with freelance photographers known for selling compromising celebrity photos. Mrs. Westbrook, I believe she's planning something beyond a simple affair. Helena sat in Beatrice's apartment. The reports spread before them like evidence of an impending crime. Her sister paced, fury and concern warring on her face. "She's going to drug him," Beatrice said flatly. "Create a scandal, probably blackmail material. Helena, this woman is dangerous. The Children's Hope Charity Gala is in 5 days," Helena said quietly, her mind working through the implications. "Marcus is the keynote speaker. Chloe's organizing the entire event as part of her PR responsibilities. If she's planning something, it'll be there." Owen Marshall, seated across from them, nodded grimly. "Big crowd, lots of cameras, open bar. It's the perfect stage for manufactured scandal. We need to catch her in the act with irrefutable evidence, or she'll claim innocence and your husband's reputation gets destroyed anyway." Helena's jaw tightened. "Then we set a trap of our own." Over the next 72 hours, they orchestrated a counter-operation. Owen hired a trusted tech specialist who installed microscopic cameras throughout the Fairmont Hotel's grand ballroom and the VIP suites Chloe had reserved. Beatrice recruited 2 friends, both attorneys, to attend as witnesses. Helena contacted the hotel's head of security, a former police captain named Douglas Chen, explaining enough to gain his cooperation without revealing everything. "I'll have my team on standby," Douglas assured her. "Give us the signal, and we move." The night of the gala arrived with typical San Francisco elegance. The Fairmont's ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers and the city's elite. Women in designer gowns mingled with tuxedoed men, champagne flutes catching the light. A string quartet played Vivaldi, while waiters circulated with caviar and truffle hors d'oeuvres. Helena had chosen her outfit carefully. A flowing emerald silk dress that accommodated her pregnancy while projecting strength. She wore her grandmother's diamond necklace, armor disguised as jewelry. Marcus had been surprised when she insisted on attending despite her fatigue. But she'd convinced him their presence together mattered for the foundation's image. From a private viewing room adjacent to the ballroom, Helena watched multiple camera feeds with Owen and Beatrice. She could see Marcus working the crowd, shaking hands, his smile polished and perfect. And there was Chloe, devastating in black, her movements predatory as she tracked Marcus through the room. "She's carrying a small beaded clutch," Owen noted, zooming in on one camera. "Barely big enough for keys and a phone. Whatever she's planning to use, it's in there." Helena's baby kicked, as if sensing her tension. She breathed slowly, forcing calm. "Stay focused," she whispered to her unborn child. "Mommy's going to fix this." The speeches concluded to enthusiastic applause. As the dancing began, Chloe made her move. She approached Marcus with 2 champagne flutes, her smile radiant. Helena watched her husband's face light up. That particular expression he reserved for people who made him feel interesting and important. "Here we go," Beatrice murmured. The cameras captured everything in high definition. Chloe's hand dipping into her clutch. The subtle movement as she turned slightly away, her body blocking most angles except the overhead camera Owen had positioned specifically for this moment. The small packet, likely a dissolvable tablet, dropped into one glass. The graceful way she pivoted back, raising both glasses in a toast. "To your brilliant speech." Chloe's voice came through the audio feed, warm and congratulatory, then smooth as silk, she executed the switch. As Marcus reached for his glass, she adjusted her grip, laughed at something he said, and in the natural flow of conversation, their glasses exchanged positions. It was so practiced, so seamless, that Helena knew this woman had done this before. Marcus drank, unsuspecting. Helena's fingernails bit into her palms. Within 15 minutes, Marcus's movements began to slow. His words came less quickly. Chloe stayed close, her hand on his elbow, guiding him away from the crowd toward the private elevators. "Owen, track them." "Douglas, prepare your team," Helena spoke into her phone, her voice ice-cold now. "Beatrice, let's go." Helena moved through the ballroom's back corridors, her sister at her side. Despite her pregnancy, despite the fear coursing through her, she walked with purpose. She'd been the supportive wife, the trusting partner for too long. Tonight, she was a woman protecting her family. The elevator indicator showed Chloe taking Marcus to the 18th floor. Suite 1842, the room Chloe had personally reserved. Helena had learned from Douglas's investigation. As Helena and her team converged on that suite, she thought of all the nights Marcus had come home late, all the excuses she'd accepted, all the doubts she'd suppressed. No more. The door to Suite 1842 loomed before them. Behind it, Chloe Riverside was about to discover that her carefully laid plans had walked straight into a trap far more sophisticated than anything she'd imagined. Helena nodded to Douglas Chen. Now, unraveling the web. Douglas Chen's security team moved with practiced efficiency, using the master key card to open Suite 1842. Helena entered first, her heart pounding but her face composed. The scene before her was exactly what Owen had predicted. Marcus slumped on the velvet sofa, his eyes glazed and unfocused, while Chloe positioned a small digital camera on the dresser, angling it toward the seating area. Chloe spun around, shock flashing across her face before she masked it with concern. "Mrs. Westbrook, thank goodness you're here. Marcus suddenly felt ill, and I brought him somewhere quiet to rest. I was just about to call for help. Were you?" Helena's voice was steady, colder than she'd ever heard herself sound. She moved to Marcus's side, checking his pulse while keeping her eyes on Chloe. "It's interesting that helping him required setting up camera equipment." Chloe's expression flickered. "I don't know what you mean. That's my personal camera. I always carry it for work events." "Helena?" Marcus mumbled, trying to focus on her face. His words slurred together. "What's happening? Feels so strange." "Shh, it's all right," Helena soothed, brushing his hair back while fury burned in her chest. She looked up at Chloe. "You drugged him. We have everything on video, the champagne glasses, the switch, all of it." The color drained from Chloe's face. "That's ridiculous. He's been drinking all evening. If he's intoxicated, that's hardly my fault." Owen Marshall stepped into the suite, tablet in hand. "Actually, Ms. Riverside, we have footage from 6 different angles, showing you dissolving a tablet into his champagne and executing a glass switch at 9:47 p.m. We also have your browser history showing searches for benzodiazepines, their effects, and how to avoid detection. Would you like to see?" He turned the tablet toward her. Chloe's face went from pale to ashen as she watched herself commit the crime in crystal-clear high definition. Her mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Beatrice entered next, followed by 2 uniformed police officers that Douglas had discreetly summoned. "We also have evidence of your previous schemes, Chloe. You did something similar 18 months ago to a venture capitalist in Los Angeles. He settled quietly to avoid scandal, but he was willing to provide a statement once we contacted him. You've been using this playbook for years," Owen added. "Create a compromising situation, capture it on camera, then blackmail wealthy men or force them to leave their wives. It's quite the career you've built." Chloe's composure shattered. Her eyes darted to the door, but Douglas's security team blocked the exit. "You don't understand," she said, her voice rising with desperation. "Marcus and I have a connection. He confides in me about everything, his dreams, his frustrations. He told me his marriage felt empty, that he married too young. Stop." Helena's single word cut through the air like a blade. She stood, her hand protectively on her belly, and faced Chloe directly. "You don't get to rewrite our marriage to justify what you've done. Yes, Marcus and I have had difficult moments. Yes, he may have been vulnerable to your manipulations. But drugging someone and attempting to blackmail them isn't love." "Chloe, it's criminal. Ms. Chloe Riverside." One of the officers stepped forward. "You're under arrest for assault with intent to commit a felony, attempted extortion, and possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute. You have the right to remain silent." As the officer continued reading Miranda rights, Chloe's facade crumbled entirely. Tears streamed down her face, smearing her carefully applied makeup. "I just wanted what she has," she whispered, looking at Helena with something between hatred and envy. "The money, the respect, the perfect life. Why does she deserve it and not me?" Helena felt an unexpected pang of pity, but it dissolved quickly. "Because I didn't drug anyone to get it. Because I built a partnership, not a scheme. And because when things got hard, I fought for the truth instead of manufacturing lies." The officers escorted Chloe out in handcuffs, her protests echoing down the hallway. The suite fell into heavy silence, broken only by Marcus's labored breathing. Paramedics arrived within minutes. They examined Marcus, confirmed the presence of sedatives in his system, and prepared to transport him to the hospital for monitoring and blood tests that would serve as evidence in the case against Chloe. "Helena," Marcus managed to say as they loaded him onto the gurney. His eyes, though clouded, held clarity of emotion. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." She took his hand, squeezing it firmly. "We'll talk when you're clear-headed. Really talk. About everything." At the hospital, Helena sat beside Marcus's bed as IV fluids flushed the sedative from his system. Beatrice had gone home after ensuring her sister was safe. Owen promised to deliver all evidence to the district attorney's office in the morning. Now, in the quiet of the private room, husband and wife faced each other. "I never slept with her," Marcus said, his voice hoarse but stronger now. "I need you to know that, but I had an emotional affair. I liked the attention, the way she made me feel admired. I was weak, and I'm ashamed." Helena's hand rested on her belly, feeling their child move. "You made me doubt myself, doubt us, at a time when I needed you most. I'm carrying our baby, Marcus, and instead of being present, you were seeking validation from someone who wanted to destroy you, to destroy us." "I know." Tears slid down his face. "I was so caught up in work stress, in feeling like I was losing my identity to responsibilities, that I didn't see what I had. I didn't see what I was risking. Helena, I'll spend the rest of my life making this right if you'll let me." She was quiet for a long moment, weighing his words against the evidence of betrayal, against the weeks of suspicion and pain, against the uncertainty of whether trust could be rebuilt. "I need time," she finally said, "and I need you to commit to counseling, both individual and couples therapy. Our child deserves parents who are either fully committed to each other or mature enough to co-parent respectfully. But right now, I don't know which path we're on." "Whatever it takes," Marcus promised. "Whatever you need." 3 weeks later, Chloe Riverside pleaded guilty to multiple charges in exchange for a reduced sentence of 4 years. The venture capitalist from Los Angeles came forward publicly, and 2 other men contacted authorities with similar stories. The district attorney praised Helena's courage in setting up the sting operation that stopped a serial predator. Helena and Marcus attended their first therapy session on a Tuesday morning. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with difficult conversations and painful honesty. But as Helena felt her daughter kick, they'd learned the baby's gender that week. She knew she'd fought for truth, for safety, for the foundation her child would need. That evening, sitting in the nursery, they were finally decorating together. Marcus painting the walls a soft lavender while Helena assembled the crib, she felt something shift. Not forgiveness, not yet, but possibility. The possibility that from the ashes of betrayal and the triumph over malice, something stronger might eventually grow. "What should we name her?" Marcus asked, setting down his paintbrush. Helena smiled, her first genuine smile in weeks. "How about Veronica? It means true image. After everything we've been through, after all the lies and schemes, I want our daughter to always see the truth clearly." Marcus nodded, understanding the deeper meaning. "Veronica Westbrook. It's perfect." Outside, the San Francisco fog rolled in, obscuring the city lights. But inside the nursery, everything was becoming clear at last. The end.